Hey everyone, and welcome back to another explainer. Today we're going to do something a little bit different and honestly a lot of fun. We're taking a fresh look at our amazing solar system, but through a totally unique lens. The story of a curious young girl named Luna. By following her magical journey, we're essentially going to map out our cosmic neighborhood together. So let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. It all starts on one bright, clear evening with a very simple yet totally profound question. Luna is just standing there looking up at the twinkling night sky, and she whispers to herself, "I wonder what's out there." And honestly, it's that exact spark of curiosity that drives the whole field of science. Well, in our story, that curiosity gets answered pretty much immediately. Out of nowhere, a tiny, glowing spaceship lands right in her backyard, and out pops this super friendly robot named Cosmo. Cosmo asks if she wants to explore space, and of course, Luna cheers, "Yes!"
All right, part 1, blast off with Luna, an explorer's voyage.
Our very first stop on the itinerary, bouncing on the moon. So the crucial point here is the concept of gravity. When Luna steps out onto that dusty lunar surface, she just starts laughing, because every single step she takes sends her bouncing incredibly high into the air. Cosmo explains that gravity is basically the invisible force that pulls us down. But because this force is so much weaker on the moon than it is back home on Earth, the exact same jump that would, barely lift her off the grass in her backyard literally sends her sailing through the air up there. It's just a perfect, practical demonstration of physics in action.
Moving right along to section 2, the hot inner planets, flying past Mercury and Venus. And this actually brilliantly illustrates a really surprising fact about our solar system. So first, they fly right past Mercury. Luna notices immediately how incredibly hot it is, which makes perfect sense, right? As Cosmo points out, Mercury is the absolute closest planet to the Sun. But then they visit Venus. It looks beautiful to Luna, but Cosmo shares this fascinating little secret. Venus is actually entirely covered in these super thick clouds. And what those clouds do is trap the heat from the Sun, making Venus even hotter than Mercury. It's a great reminder that distance isn't the only thing that determines a planet's temperature. A planet's atmosphere plays a massive, massive role. It's kind of like wearing a heavy winter coat in the middle of summer.
Okay, on to Section 3, Earth and Red Mars, home and a rusty neighbor.
As the spaceship loops back toward Earth, Luna is struck by a really familiar and comforting sight. She smiles and notes just how beautifully blue our home looks from the total darkness of space. And as Cosmo explains, Earth looks like a glowing blue marble because a whopping 70% of it is covered by water. That leaves only 30% for all the land masses combined. And that massive amount of water is exactly what makes Earth so incredibly special. To our knowledge, it is the only planet out there with oceans full of life. That 70% water composition is quite literally the key to our whole existence.
Now, just past Earth, the journey continues to a planet with a completely different color palette, Mars. Luna immediately notices that pretty much everything is red, while Cosmo explains that this red color isn't just paint, it actually comes from rusty iron in the Martian soil. It's literally a rusty planet. But what's really captivating here, and why this matters so much for us today, is the connection to what we just learned about Earth. Scientists are obsessively studying Mars right now because, even though it's super dry and rusty today, it may have actually had water a long, long time ago. And where there was water, well, there might have been the potential for life. Let's move to Section 4 and see how this builds. Giants of the solar system, visiting Jupiter and Saturn.
As they approach Jupiter, Luna is absolutely stunned by its size. "It's enormous," she says. Cosmo confirms that Jupiter is, without a doubt, the largest planet in our entire solar system. And to really grasp this scale, consider the number 1,300. That is how many Earths could fit inside Jupiter. Think about that for a second. Over 1,300 of our entire planets all packed into this one massive gas giant. It really puts our little blue home into perspective, doesn't it?
Next up, they wave as they pass Saturn, which is of course famous for its magnificent, sparkling rings. But what exactly are those rings? Cosmo hits the nail on the head with this quote. "The rings are made of billions of pieces of ice and rock." They aren't solid hoops at all. From far away, they look like smooth, perfect tracks, but up close, they are just a swirling, chaotic collection of icy, rocky debris orbiting this massive planet.
And finally, Section 5, Endless Wonders of Space, the final stops, Uranus and Neptune.
Uranus gives Luna a really good giggle, and honestly, it's easy to see why. Unlike most planets that spin somewhat upright, kind of like a top, Uranus is this funny cosmic oddball that actually spins entirely on its side.
It almost looks like a rolling ball moving along its orbit. It's just a wonderful, quirky little visual fact that shows just how wild and varied the mechanics of the universe can actually be.
Finally, they arrive at Neptune, a world of deep, stunning blue clouds. But actually, scratch that. This isn't some calm, peaceful blue ocean like we have on Earth. Cosmo explains that Neptune features giant, racing storms. In fact, the winds racing through those blue clouds are some of the absolute fastest in the entire solar system. It's a place of extreme, fast-paced weather right at the very edge of our planetary neighborhood. Having reached the edge, it is finally time to head home. On their way back, Luna thoughtfully looks out at all the glowing planets they've just visited and simply says, "Space is amazing." Cosmo totally agrees and shares this incredibly wise thought. The more we learn about science, the more wonderful our universe becomes. They land safely back on Earth, their incredible journey is complete. But Luna's curiosity, oh, it's bigger than ever.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it distills all those core educational takeaways we discovered on our road trip into one place. Let's do a quick recap. We saw that gravity keeps us grounded, while the moon's weaker pole lets us jump way higher. We learned that Earth's water makes it the only known planet with life. We marveled at the sheer, mind-boggling scale of Jupiter as the largest planet, and discovered that Saturn's beautiful rings are actually just billions of pieces of ice and rock. And most importantly, we learned that scientists continue exploring space just like they study the rusty soil of Mars to discover brand new things every single day.
Which brings us to the end of this explainer on Luna's journey, but perhaps it's just the beginning of yours. That night, looking up at the stars from her backyard, Luna knew that every question she asked could be the start of another amazing adventure. So I'll leave you with this question to ponder. What will your next adventure be? The universe is incredibly vast, the facts are absolutely fascinating, and there is always more to learn. Keep looking up, keep asking questions, and I will see you in the